find people who did fund management. Now, one of the interesting things about each of these constructs is there's a little bit of risk and there's a little bit of trade-off with each of them. And I personally have done 1, 2, 3, and 4, believe it or not. And so I'll actually walk you through my own examples and which one's right for you. So let's start with number 1, bootstrapped. Bootstrap just means that you fund the business from your own savings and cash flow. You have no outside investors, and you grow through reinvesting your own profits. You have a website and you've got a cell phone and you've got skills, and you start trading one for the other, get a little excess money, take that excess money, and then continue to build. Now, typical examples for this are usually low-cost businesses to start. A lot of times that's services. So agencies, home service businesses, B2B services, professional services, things like that. Sometimes nowadays you can actually do this with software. It didn't used to be that way, but now it kind of is. Education businesses, e-com brands, if you do drop shipping. If you don't do drop shipping, you'll have to front some capital in order to get the first inventory started. Local businesses, most normal companies. Now, to be fair, that scope has continued to broaden because the cost of entering business is going to continue to drop. Now, for me personally, my first brick and mortar business was a gym, and so that was bootstrapped. I used the profits from that to start Prestige Labs, which was a supplement company, which was bootstrapped. I started Allen, which was a software company, which is bootstrapped. And so all those companies were bootstrapped. Today, acquisition.com is taking some of that capital, investing it into other people's businesses, while also having some companies that we start de novo from our holdco, which is kind of semi-bootstrapped and also kind of reinvesting our own capital. So you can see how some of these boxes merge. Now, who is this right for? So if this is your first business, I recommend starting with bootstrapping. And the main reason is just that you want to pay off ignorance debt. The last thing you want to do is take your friends and family's money and then lose it because you don't know what you're doing. That's my opinion. Everyone, your results may vary. You can stick of the names on that list that I mentioned, Jeff Bezos, the people that he knew invested, Bill Gates, the people, I think he had rich parents. I'm sure they helped him out in the beginning. I don't know the actual public documentation of that, but I think he had a little bit of help in the beginning there. But the thing here is that I don't think you're going to want to go raise a ton of capital from everyone you know, maybe even VCs, if it's your first shot. Again, your results will vary. Your life is unique. But the main thing is that bootstrapped will typically be the slowest of the 4 paths. And that is usually because it takes money to grow. And if you have to make the money to grow, it's almost like having a car factory built inside of the car. It's very difficult to do. Humans do it. We have human factories inside of our humans. Weird stuff, right? But in business design, it's much, much more difficult, right? It's slower to build the capital reallocation machine while also building the machine that makes the capital to begin with. You kind of have to have both. Now, the main advantage of this is that you keep the control and the equity. So you have a whole, bigger slice of the pie. You decide the pace, the strategy, and ultimately you can exit on your own time horizon or never exit at all, right? And the goal is that you design a compounding vehicle, which is either recurring or reoccurring within the business. And then you let that over time do the heavy lifting. That's the end goal. Now, a lot of first businesses don't have any of those things, but you buy a dollar, sell for 2, and you make money. There's nothing wrong with that. Here's some of the trade-offs. When you bootstrap, you incur more debt than any other vehicle. Now you're like, wait a second, I thought I was using my own money to start this thing. Yes, but you incur every other type of debt. And oftentimes every other type of debt is harder to pay off than money is. So what do I mean? If you're starting with your own cash, it's very difficult for